The floor should have been lit up. She's lit up, her face is lit up, her body's lit up, she's covered in blue light. But yet, nothing around her, not even the back, nor the front, not even by feet, not by the trees at the side. Nothing else was lit up in this blue light. Now, if I hadn't looked at her face, it wouldn't have triggered me to think, hang on, something's not right here. It was her face that gave it away.
This is Judy Woods Part 2. In Part 1 I spoke with Gaz about his experience while he was wild camping in the woods and the noises that spooked him. Here in Part 2 I speak with Paula Elizabeth Green about what took place the night she visited Judy Woods when she was 12 years old. Between Bradford and Halifax is a large wooded area known as Judy Woods. In 1977, one Mrs. Fowler was walking in the area and claims to have perceived a flying saucer hovering just 1 foot above the ground, which she describes as being a silvery hat shape with white light or windows in circles around the middle and a red cone of flame connecting it to the earth. She claims it floated next to a rocky outcrop for a time before it slowly began to rotate and suddenly shot straight off into the air. The 1977 sighting was merely a prelude to a spate of reports of such activity in the area in October and November in 1981, which has since been known to the UFO community as the White Woods Flat.
Well, normally we'd hang about in his own area and meet up with other friends. Now, there was nothing that made me come in this area, more than my mate that said, I said, what we're doing tonight, which I thought would be the normal thing, was to meet up with his friends, was to hang about the streets, and be typical teenagers, and I don't even know why I said what we're doing tonight, because it's not a normal question I'd asked when I knew that the normal thing had happened. Do you get what I mean? Which was hanging about on the streets with other mates. But she's actually said, we're going to the woods. And I just thought we were going to, we call a little coppice in the park, a 2-minute walk from me. And when we started going in opposite direction, it's somewhere in my head I was thinking, this isn't way at woods. Because I'd never been here before, And so, starts walking in opposite direction.
And then that was your first time in these woods?
And that was the first time in these woods. I remember it. We were fast walkers. We were fast walkers for teenagers. You go do, messing about. We might have called in at shop, haven't we? I don't know, because that middle bit's not relevant, so it's not something I remember. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? Until you get to the snicket at the beginning of the woods, the council houses. I can't find the path now. I've tried, and no chance, because new houses have been built. Paths have been made. We didn't have these paths at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
man-made paths. No, there were none of that. But this snicket went somewhere, but I don't know where. But I don't think it actually might have been a snicket. When I sit and think about it, I think it might not have been. I think it was the ends of 2 houses and a gap in the middle, which went down to some water. So they probably used it as a pathway to get down to there. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure whether I thought after that, well, this isn't park. You know what I mean? This isn't the woods out there. I probably didn't, you know. I just carried on following her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's about 2.5 years older than me. So it's like, you just expect somebody who's older to be more responsible anyway, you know? So I wasn't going to willing to tell me nan that, you know, I'm going to go up woods because I didn't know I was going up woods, you know, and I just thought we were going up park. So I end up in this, so get back to in here. Yeah. And all I remember is having a fence at each side of us. And it was all right because two of us could walk side by side. So I don't know what side she were at. It doesn't really matter what side she were at. I know that, you know, two of us could walk. The fence, I'd say, probably about 6 foot. Might be a bit smaller. I don't know how much I've grown since I was 12. Do you get what I mean? But all I remember is to look over, and that is even on my tiptoes. I'm only looking at the bedroom windows and bathrooms of these houses. So the fence was high. Do you get what I mean? So, and then we just carried on walking, and trees started coming in, you know what I mean, over and over. And by this point now, it's single file path, so it's kind of narrowed in. I can't remember whether she's in front or I'm in front. Like I said, that bit's irrelevant. And it's in that year, like a lapping of water. Yeah. So I thought, all right, I'm near it. I'm near this water. You know, it's like trying to, you're in darkness. Like if you look beyond me, it's dark. You know what I mean? But even though there's like quite, I'm sure it could have been a full moon because there was also enough light at the same time. Not over light, you know what I mean? But enough substantial light to lead the way. Do you get what I mean? To help us lead the way down. And I just remember this lapping of water, and I thought it were closer than what it was. You know, it just kind of shook me at that minute because I thought, oh, I'm going to fall. So I kind of stopped in my tracks because I thought I was going to go into this water. But when my eyes have got kind of more focused, I realised that these trees are kind of dispersing more outwards. So I know then there's a bit of a clearing. And then I could see like it was some light on the water. I mean, it probably was moonlight, just slightly reflecting off at ripples of the water. So I couldn't tell you how big this thing was, how big this, whether it were a lake, a reservoir, could have been a stream for all I know. You know what I mean? I don't know, but all I knew that there's a big area that's no trees. You know what I mean? And I knew then that I could take a few steps forward because my eyes had adjusted more now because of I think moonlight coming down. So it's giving me the extra bit of light to work with. Yeah. And I just took a few steps forward until the water, you know, I'm near enough edge, probably a couple of feet away from edge of this water. I don't know whether it went down. I don't know. You know what I mean? That bit, I don't even recall whether it was on a flat or whether it's dipped down, you know, like, or whether somebody's built a kind of a wall around it. I don't know, you know what I mean? But it's there and I see it. But in the distance, I look up and I can see what looks like street lights. I think there were. You know what I mean? I don't doubt that at all. I can't say there were, but I'm sure there were street lights, you know what I mean? Which looked like about half a mile away to me. As I got older, I thought, well, when you're young, everything looks more at a distance anyway. Do you know what I mean? And it probably a lot closer than that. What I think the street lights, anyway, I'm sure they are. And house lights, you know, a few house lights coming in. And so I'm looking. there, and next minute something's blocking that view of the lights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just blocking it, and I couldn't figure out why. You know what I mean? Did somebody turn these lights out? Have they all gone out? What? And then the lights would appear again, and then they'd block again, and then appear again. Do you get what I mean? And I just couldn't figure out that because I'm looking beyond this thing that's right in front of me, I'm not looking at what it is because I'm trying to look beyond it. Why these lights are going out and on again? You know what I mean? It is then that I notice when I kind of, for some reason, I must have thought, is the summer blocking my view? I probably did think that. I can't say I did, but a possibility that I did. You know what I mean? And all I see is then this boomerang shape with an extra arm. I'm not going to say a propeller because propellers tend to have that sharp, tapered edge, don't they? This is definitely a shape of a boomerang, but it's got that extra arm on it. Like your boomerangs like that. This one's like that, like that, like that. And maybe 10 foot out, 10, 15 foot. I don't know. It's very short distance. You know what I mean? On the, I'd say I was going to say on water, but it's over. At the time, it looks like it's on the water, and it's moving clockwise, really slow. It's deathly silent. There's nothing. There's no movement of a leaf. There's absolutely nothing. And now and again, I hear my heartbeat. You know what I mean? You know when you get that palpitation thing and it goes, you feel it. It's like that, but it isn't a palpitation. It's just a normal. You know what I mean? Very strange. And I was just so awestruck at the size of this. I mean, looking at it now, then I knew it were massive. But looking at it now, I can put a measurement on it, and I'd say probably 30 foot by 30 foot upright position. I'm not sure whether it did have that were its actual position, or whether it was placed upright or it had a back to it. I'm not sure, you know. But yeah, upright position, 30 by 30 feet, and I was just watching it go around, and it had lights on each round lights, and they weren't bright. You know, it's like somebody with a dimmer switch, and it had a blue light. Now I'm still stuck of what's on this side here. As it's turning, I can see the light, but I can't tell you what colour it is. Do you get what I mean? Something's saying yellowy, you know, creamy yellow, because there weren't defined colours, if you know what I mean. You got your red, you got your blue, you know what I mean? So it's a creamy yellow I'm looking at. Even though I can't remember it, I'm getting that feeling that that's what it is. So then we've got a blue light, green light, and something's saying also red, but I don't know because I still can't see red either. You know what I mean? Yeah. So whether that's part to do with yellowy cream that I'm thinking as well, I'm not sure. Or whether I'm just kind of putting primary colours together in my head, don't know. But it's so, you know, these lights are dull, you know what I mean? But they're not big at the lights, you know what I mean? They give enough light off, but they're not big.
And they're not shining on the surface?
No, they're not doing anything. No, nothing. Like I said, it's like someone's got a dimmer switch and they've turned them down. And it's turning and turning, and then I see what looks like, as I'm watching it go around, it looks black. Do you get what I mean? It's very, I don't think there's a shine to it, although the moon might have caught it slightly. I can't see any shine on it. Do you get what I mean? So I can't say whether it's dull or can't be dull. Do you get what I mean? I'm still kind of seeing it, but I can't give a definite, I just can't give a definite whether it is a shiny or a dull, you know. and it looks black. It's very black. There's no what you call kind of joints or anything. It's like one mould. You know what I mean? And then I see what looks like a big circle in the centre, a big circle in the centre. And, you know, I thought this thing were black, but when you see this circle in the centre, it makes the thing that's going round, these boomerang-shaped thing, look grey, because this centre hole is so dense. You know, I don't know whether it's a hole or it's a flat thing. I don't know. You know what I mean? And it's so black. And black, the blacker than black, which now makes the outer side of it look grey. You know what I mean? It casts no reflection whatsoever. That's what I mean. I just couldn't say whether it were a hole or a flat. I don't know. And then it's like I'm just awestruck at this. What the hell is it? I don't even recall thinking, what the hell is it? Now I think, what the hell is it? Back then, I don't think it went through my mind.
Did you speak to your friend about it at the time it was happening?
No, we were both quiet, awestruck. You know what I mean? That's all I can think of, that we were so awestruck we couldn't take his eyes off it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I've never seen it so bizarre. It's just so bizarre. I know the difference between a propeller and something that definitely silent. You know what I mean? And then now when I don't know whether when this thing come on, but there's a fan of light underneath. So every time this blade thing, I say blade, but it makes it easier. So it's going round 1 to 5 miles an hour. And then I see the white light underneath. So the white light is, the floor is there, the water, and the white light's only that deep. Get what I mean? But it's fan shape. But when I look more closely, it's just made a circular shape on the water. So it's just like that.
Yeah.
And I could see, like, I don't even know when it switched on. It could have been on all the time. And I might have just noticed it. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But I see, it's like, you know when you bring a pan at boil and it just starts simmering, that tiny little bubbles come up. It was just like that. And what looked like, well, I thought of smoke as a kid, but you look at it, hang on a minute, it's condensation, you know what I mean? Is it condensation? I don't know, you know. But it's, I can see it, it's there, this condensation stuff. It's not fake, you can see through it, you know what I mean? Through that circle bit. So it's not, you know what I mean? It's not giving off this airy kind of smoke stuff, you know what I mean? Or condensation stuff. Might not even been condensation, I don't know. But I was just drawn and I'm like, what? I look now and I think, what the hell was that? Do you know what I mean? It's just, and then I thought about it as I were older and I thought, whatever this thing was that were turning,
Yeah.
for this light to shine on the water from underneath it, there's something stationary at the back to keep that light down. Do you get what I mean? While this is turning. So there is a back to it. But how big is the back? Do you get what I mean?
Mm.
So then next minute, my friend is actually stood at this side of me. I remember that. She stood at the right side of me. And I'm just looking, you know, at this thing going. It seems like I'm going on about this for ages, but I don't even know how long I stood there. It just went on. You know what I mean? Next minute, she's at that side of me. You've got to remember this bit of this stuff, I'd hear it.
Yeah.
Nothing. She didn't go in front of me. She didn't go at the back of me. She just went there. It was like somebody just moved her without me moved. You know what I mean? And then I kind of sees in my peripheral, I kind of sees there. I knew she'd moved, and it was so quick because that's what drew my attention then away from that to her.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So I knew she was there because in my peripheral, even though I'm looking at that, I can still see her there, and she's there. And that's it. And I'm like, and it was like, I'm looking at her, it was like everything started slowing down. Like, ugh. You know what I mean? And I looks, it's like as if I've gone, ugh. And I looked at her, and she's bathed in blue light. I want to say electric blue, but it won't. It's not a dark blue, it's not a light blue, it's just a weird blue. Do you get what I mean? But it is what I could call electric blue, but a different kind of different hue to it, is what we would normally see. Do you get what I mean? And I'm looking at her and I'm like, and I didn't feel anything at the time. And I'm just looking at her like this, and nothing around the floor should have been lit up. She's lit up, her face is lit up, her body's lit up, she's covered in blue light. But yet, nothing around her, not even the back, nor the front, not even by feet, not by the trees at the side. Nothing else was lit up in this blue light. Now, if I hadn't looked at her face, it wouldn't have triggered me to think, hang on, something's not right here. It was her face that gave it away, that something is not fucking right. You know what I mean? It was then that I see kind of this expression, and I'll never forget it. And I don't think, even if I asked somebody to draw it for me, they'd never get it right. Do you get what I mean? They'd never get that fear and the look in her eyes and how she actually looked. You know what I mean? It was then that triggered me. It just so triggered me. And I kind of looked, and it was like slow, and I kind of raised my hands. It was like that, blue, blue. You know what I mean? And then boom, I looked at her. I went, effing run. You know, that was the only words I come out with, and I knew it were them words. You know what I mean? It were effing run. You know what I mean? And I just turned round, and as I turned round, I grabbed her arm, her right arm. You know what I mean? To drag her, you know. And I don't know whether she's caught a balance or she's turned round or whatever, but I'm still holding her. I'm still holding top of her arm to drag her, you know. And I'm running back down this snicket, but as I'm running, it feels like I'm sinking into the ground. I'm sinking, and blackness is closing in. You know what I mean? And it's nothing like. I've fainted loads of times in my past. You know when you're going to faint, and you know that feeling. It's awful. You're out of control. You know what I mean? It's nothing you can do to stop that. This is totally different. And this first time it's happened, it's called blackout. You know what I mean? It's not blacked out, it's blackout. And so it feels like I'm getting smaller and smaller, like I'm sinking into the ground, running through flipping quicksand. Do you know what I mean? Going down, down, down. And all of a sudden, boom, I'm at the bottom of my street. And I'm walking. I haven't landed there. I haven't just started walking. I'm walking. You know? And nothing is there. Whatever's just taken place 1 second ago doesn't exist anymore.
Completely forgot it.
Completely forgot it. And I'm walking, and from where the shop was, I had an off licence. And I walked round corners, you know, a few steps, and you're round corner on my street. And I gets round, and I hears kids talking and shouting and and I start seeing people in the doorways, you know, kids' parents or neighbours or whatever, and automatically my mind thinks, they're having a party. Why haven't they invited me to this party? Do you know what I mean? Because everyone's talking and it seems to be an happy atmosphere, you know what I mean? So strange. I still don't get it now, you know what I mean? As a 12-year-old mind, I don't get it. But as this adult mind, I do get it because they were bloody looking for me, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like then these kids are on the bikes and that. And I'm like, oh, you know what, they're definitely having a party. And I was getting really annoyed because I wanted to be a part of this party, but when nobody's told me, you know what I mean? And as I'm walking up, these kids are approaching me on the bikes. And they're saying, you're in trouble, you know, kids teasing and that. And I thought, well, what am I in trouble for? I didn't say out to them. I just thought, what am I in trouble for? I mean, they're probably just teasing me, you know what I mean? And then, you know, the parents had all gone quiet and that. And I'm thinking, it's a bit weird, but it wasn't weird because I just thought it was a party going on, you know? And as I get halfway up the street, and kind of looks towards my grandma stood. And they're in a home now, and these kids are still shouting, you're in trouble, you're in trouble. And I was halfway up, yeah, and I sees my gran in the doorway, and there's a policeman stood next to her, PC Milner. And so my grandma's, like, at first she stood in the garden by the door, and the policeman stood there. And he's one of them with old uniform with Bobby hat, yeah. And I thought, oh, what's going on? You know, I just thought, oh, they've gone, you know, he's just gone for a chat or whatever, you know what I mean? And as I get up past, my nana's kind of walked into the doorway and blocked the door. She was a big burly woman, you know what I mean? So she's blocked the doorway, so there's no way possible that I could get through that doorway because she's got one hand like that and she's leaning with other with leg kind of like that, so I can't go. You know what I mean? And then, you know, copper says, where have you been? Well, there's no way I am going to say that I have been in at Woods. And there's definitely no way that I'm going to actually say that I've seen something in them woods, because it were only then that it hit me that I remember what I actually saw. Do you get what I mean? It's like, I didn't remember it from bottom of the street walking up, but as soon as he said that, it's triggered that memory that I thought, hang on, I've been at Woods and I saw something really fucking weird. You know what I mean? It's like, what? And there were no way I was going to say it. If I'd have said, oh yeah, I've been at Woods. But at the same time, I'm thinking, well, it's only early anyway. Why so concerned about where I've been? You know what I mean? I mean, we did set off. It might have been about 6:15 when we set off. Yeah. You know what I mean? At tea time, and it was dark. So that's why I say it might have been October-ish. Do you get what I mean? I might be wrong. It might have been late October. You know, I'm 12. I don't. You know what I mean? But so I'm thinking, well, why would they be looking for me? Why would this copper be looking for me anyway? Because it's only early, you know. And there were no way I was going to say I've been at Woods. I'd have been grounded for life. I mean, grounded for life. You know, and got a bloody good telling off. So I didn't want that.
So and what time did you think it was?
I thought.
Or how long do you think you'd been out?
Well, the walk would have taken us 45 minutes to get here.
Yeah.
Something on them lines. Do you get what I mean? It's not gonna take half an hour, but it's not gonna take an hour either. So I'd say over 45 minutes. But at 12-year-old, you know, I'm thinking, well, I only went to Woods and came back. Do you get what I mean? So it should have only taken me up to about maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? It's There's no middle bit because it didn't exist. I've come out at Snicket and I'm at Bottom Street, so there's no middle bit. So that's what time it should be, about 7:30, 8 o'clock. You know, it's right. So then it's, you know, the nagging me, you know, what time, you know, do you realise what time it is? You've had your grandma upset and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, where have you been? Where have you been? Where have you been? I don't know. And I literally said, I don't know. Because in one aspect I was telling the truth, because I didn't know where I'd been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But in another, I wasn't going to tell her where I'd been because I get grounded, and another I definitely tell her that I've seen this thing that locked me up. Do you know what I mean? Send me to doctors and lock me up. But it's then that I was getting really upset and started crying because I've got these kids at gate still tormenting me, saying, you know, you're in trouble, you're in trouble. And I was upset with that. And they were also upset, you know, that they were it felt like interrogation. You know what I mean? I'm being interrogated. Why? What have I done? And I'm thinking then, you know, I'm going to go to prison for something I don't even know what I've done. It was that bad, being, you know, interrogated, where have you been? And then it was the PC Milner that said, it's 5 to midnight. Well, that didn't mean out to me. Because as a 12-year-old, do you think I really care about what time it is? You know what I mean? But yeah, it didn't still click that, you know, where have I been between there and there? It's only in later life where I thought, hang on, where have I been between that and that? You know what I mean? So if I'd have got to these woods and we set off at 6:15, it's going to be about 7 when we get here. You know what I mean? It's going to be about 7. So where have I been until 5 to midnight? Thinking, I don't know, because all I see is blackness. There's nothing there. There's no cut-off point. There's no in between bit. I don't see a blackness as what you think is just black and then, you know what I mean. The last blackness I saw was when it was coming in, and I'm running down this Snicket like I'm running in quicksand. But then I'm at Bottom Street. It's like somebody's flicked a switch. So there's no middle bit. It doesn't exist. And then, I mean, Grandma eventually let me in because she'd seen how upset I was. And I think she also had an idea that I wasn't willing to give whatever it were away. And I ran upstairs, took my clothes off, got into bed, and I put what we call eider down over my head. I don't remember falling asleep. I will have done, but I don't recall it. I just recall morning coming, and I thought, oh my God, and she's going to give me a right telling off, you know what I mean? But, so I'm creeping about in the bathroom, and I'm like, I've got to get up, I've got to go up a little bit. She laid floorboards. I thought, yeah, she's going to hit floorboards creaking, and I'm going to get a right telling off, you know what I mean? And interrogated, and so eventually got out of bed, goes to the toilet. I thought, well, I'm going to have to go. No matter what, I have to go to the toilet. And I'm going to have to, can't stay up there for the rest of my life, can I? So I goes to the toilet, gets dressed, comes downstairs, and I thought, he'll go. You know what I mean? I was prepared. I thought, if she questions me, I'm running out at the door. They'll leg it and never come home again. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I goes down, and it was just so bizarre out play. I'm just sat there on the sofa thinking, well, come on then. You know what I mean? Question me. Because as soon as you do, I'm off. I can't answer no. So, no. The first word that she says, well, do you want a cup of tea? And I thought, is this the build-up? Is this the build-up to butter me up to start this conversation of the night before? I'm waiting and I'm waiting. He has me tea. It didn't happen. I don't know how long I sat on the sofa for, but it never happened. I thought, oh, well, I'm bored of this. I'm going to ring my mate up. So the last set I came with, so we had old dial telephone. Yeah. And I rings her up, and I just said, oh, we're going to meet up. I don't know what time at morning it was. I can't tell you what time at morning it was, you know what I mean? But yeah, she met me. She only lived, what, 4 minutes away from me anyway. So, yeah, we met up halfway down the road. And, you know, and it just, it's strange because at 12-year-old, you wouldn't say, you know, oh, do you remember what we saw last night? Blah, blah, blah. That is something I'd say.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was like, I wasn't meant to say what I wanted to say, but it come out as very adult-like. So, how do you remember getting home last night? You know what I mean? Well, I remember walking on the street and being in house and having a cup of coffee, and that, you know, what my mate's answer was. I said, well, don't you remember out else? No, not really. You know, it was like, we'll go to Woods, yeah. I said, well, what time did you get in? And I'm sure she said about 10 past, 9:15. And I thought, don't question anymore. My mind was saying, do not question her anymore. And that was so adult-like to think that I shouldn't do this. Do you get what I mean? I shouldn't. And after that, you know, one of them friends that you'd see every day after school. Do you get what I mean? And after that, the friendship started dwindling. You know, it was like you were there for that one purpose, and then that job were done. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was that. And, you know, I didn't come back to Woods.